Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel once again, and this is going to be another wrestling match review. So, as I previously noted, for the month of December, we're going to look at mainly, not necessarily fully themed matches, but I figured because it's like the December or slash like Christmas holiday season, I figured I would throw in a couple Christmas or holiday themed, even at least matches here in the wrestling match reviews here on the channel. And wouldn't you know it, even ECW would sometimes get into the holiday spirit. So in the main event of this event, and who would walk out ECW champion, ECW world champion that is, let's find out. I'm of course talking about ECW's Massacre on 34th Street. Not Miracle, but Massacre on 34th Street. Yes, Steve Corino defended the ECW World Heavyweight Championship against both Jerry Lynn and Justin Credible. So as always, I'm not a professional wrestling reviewer or analyst, just a man who enjoys a good time, and I had a good time for the most part with this match. So without further ado, I guess let's get right into it. If you've seen these reviews of mine before, you kind of already know how this works. If you haven't, I'm going to be talking about what I liked and what I disliked about this match in particular. So starting with what I liked, these are definitely three guys who are capable of putting on a good match. Admittedly, haven't seen a whole lot from these three, but I know at least from what I've read and what I've seen and what I've heard at least a little bit I've seen, capable of putting on a solid match, and was a decent amount of action throughout. Wasn't quite the barn burner that I'm sure a lot of people were expecting, in which a lot of people state about this match in retrospect. Wasn't quite the barn burner that a lot of people were expecting, but still a solid match for the most part. And if I'm not mistaken, I forget whether or not it's this match in particular. It might be a different match, and it might be different wrestlers entirely. But I think this is the match that was mostly improv. If that's the case, that would explain some of the stuff that didn't quite land when it comes to this match, but also problems, because improvising stuff is not easy. As someone who's had to improvise stuff before, or like think of stuff on the fly, as I often do sometimes on the channel here, it is definitely not easy. But for the most part, they made it work. It wasn't really a bad match, but all three guys capable of putting on a decent match, and they did for the most part. Like I said, decent amount of action, decent amount of weapon spots, even some brawling in the crowd, including some guardrail spots. One of which made Justin Credible a little bit upset, and I guess I learned something new, because on Peacock, and maybe it's because I'm used to watching like WWE/F events on Peacock, like where stuff is censored, because WWE is very protective about censoring a lot of their stuff. ECW, no such filter. It's ECW, of course, and it's pay-per-view, baby. That stuff does make it on camera and is uncensored. But like I said, it's ECW. Of course, what can you do? But this is, of course, a three-way dance. ECW, of course, famously, he maybe not pioneered, but at least he's gave a lot of credence and everything, and really helped innovate the three-way dance format, where someone is pinned or for submit, they are eliminated, and it continues until someone is the last man standing. Jerry Lynn is the first to go. So he is out of the dance, and so then it comes down to Steve Corino and Justin Credible, and they do brawl in the crowd a little bit, but they do eventually make their way back to the ring, and eventually Steve Corino hits Justin Credible with, I forget what they called the move on camera. It's something to do with his gimmick, though, because Steve Corino is the king of old school, but used that to pick up the win. But immediately afterwards, the Sandman shows up and swoops in and takes the ECW title from Steve Corino. Sandman also took out Poor Jack Victory with the Singapore Cane slash the kendo stick. So Sandman and Steve Corino, I guess, would go on to feud from there. So this does stem from what happened at the previous event, and I'm looking at the wiki here for a reference to see the exact event and where Steve Corino won the ECW Championship in the first place from the Sandman, Just Incredible, and Jerry Lynn, if I'm not mistaken. It was a four-way match where Corino won the championship in the first place. But the Sandman is not quite done with Steve Corino just yet. But nevertheless, as for this match itself, still a little okay for the most part. If I did have to find some things I didn't like the match doesn't really sadly get into that next gear. They tried with like the crowd brawling and stuff, and the thing is, crowd brawling, I know it can usually be hit or miss. If the stuff in the crowd is interesting, then usually the people are into it. But otherwise, if it's not the most interesting, then it'll kind of fall to the wayside. And sadly, it does kind of do that here. There is some nice guardrail spots, and the guardrail spots do look like they hurt, and in Just Incredible's case, it definitely did. But otherwise, nothing really too crazy or too special. And the other thing, and this is more of a production thing, but there is a spot where Just Incredible goes to punch Steve Corino, or it may have been Jerry Lynn, but instead nails Francine. I think it was Jerry Lynn, and of course Francine in the Queen of Extreme, of course, company Just Incredible. I can't give you the other nickname for her. The other story thread is that Just Incredible ain't getting none with Francine until he gets the ECW Championship back. Of course, Just Incredible was ECW champion, not looked favorably upon as ECW champion, unfortunately, but he's not getting no action with Francine unless he gets that ECW championship back. Maybe Rhea Ripley should try that with maybe he can get the North American title back that way. But nevertheless, Francine does accompany Just Incredible to the ring here, and of course Jack Victory does accompany Steve Corino. But nevertheless, as Credible accidentally decks Francine when he's supposed to hit Jerry Lynn, and so Francine is taken out for a bit. But then the cameras zoom in on her, showing her really like selling the punch and stuff afterwards. And this is after Jerry Lynn is eliminated and everything. But they stay on her when Credible and Steve Corino are brawling up the entrance ramp, and Joey Styles is able to. And by the way, the commentary team is Joey Styles and Cyrus, aka Cyrus the Virus, also known as Mr. Don Callis. But they're brawling and everything, hang up the ramp, but the camera's not focused on any of that. It gets to them way too late. Not quite sure how interesting that would have been, but to stay on them, but staying on Francine the whole time, really selling, and instead of going right towards the going where the action's supposed to be, which is how the camera is supposed to be, in an event like this. Plus, they randomly go into the fans when nothing really is going on over there, and the action's in the ring. Like, it is kind of weird and kind of annoying, and the thing is, like, obviously that has nothing to do with the wrestlers themselves, but going into that was a bit annoying. But nevertheless, it's a pretty solid match, pretty decent match, just not, it was good / okay, but not great, especially given the talent that was in this match, which is unfortunate. But nevertheless, it was what it was. But that is going to do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor: like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video, so you can see as soon as it drops. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the match and my review. Did you like to select the match? Did you like to select my review of the match? Let me know. And of course, as always, I know I don't really mention this often, but it is, but I'll state it here, of course. If you have any match recommendations or any recommendations for movies, video games, other than that, because I do also review that type of stuff, please let me know either in the comments or on my social medias. I have a Facebook, Twitter, and an Instagram, so go follow those. Those are in the link tree in the description, so go check those out. And whether you leave it in the comments or or pretty much any way you get a hold of me, on those pages or on or through messages. Please let me know if you have any recommendations, any match recommendations, any movie recommendations, any video game recommendations. Please feel free to let me know, message me there, or or of course you can drop them in the comments. But nevertheless, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.